And in our top business story, the rally in crude prices and a cut in government spending meant that the federal budget surplus was 4.5 billion dirhams higher in the first 9 months of last year compared to the same period in 2015. Emirates news agency WAM reported, according to its own analysis, that the surplus rose 130% year-on-year during the period to almost 8 billion dirhams compared to 3.48 billion dirhams a year earlier. Benchmark Brent crude rose 31% to $49 a barrel from $37.22 between January and the end of September 2016. For the whole of last year, the budget was set for a negligible deficit, with revenue and expenditure estimated at about 48.5 billion dirhams each. In the first 9 months of 2016, federal revenue was about 7% higher at 37.46 billion dirhams compared to 35 billion dirhams in the same period of 2015, while spending fell to 29.71 billion dirhams from 31.6 billion dirhams. Revenue from fees for government services was flat year-on-year, with fees account for 75% of federal government revenue. The UAE Central Bank Governor Mubarak al-Mansouri said in November that the government's moves to reduce expenses and increase revenue from non-oil sources was aiding the overall economic health of the country. The IMF, which has hailed the Arabian Gulf's efforts to plug budget deficits, is projecting that the UAE's economy grew 2.3% last year and is forecasting it to expand 2.5% this year, broadly in line with the central bank's estimates. Residential property sales and leases will be exempted from value-added tax in the UAE, but not commercial properties. That's according to tax consultants who attended a VAT briefing by the Ministry of Finance. The briefing for advisors took place last week ahead of a nationwide awareness campaign with the Ministry of Finance, which will educate various stakeholders on the collection of VAT. According to a local report which quoted an implementation leader from Ernst & Young, commercial property, both sales and leases, will be subject to the standard rate of VAT. But residential property sales and leases will be exempt from VAT with the exception of the first sale of new residential property. Bare land will also be exempt from VAT. The exemption of property sales and rental income will boost the real estate market, particularly in Dubai, which last year reported total real estate transactions worth $70.5 billion and included 41,776 sales deals and 15,000 mortgage transactions. In the briefing, Ministry of Finance officials also confirmed the UAE and other GCC member states were still on track to implement VAT from the 1st of January 2018, with the UAE likely to release its domestic VAT law before the end of the first half of 2017, and detailed executive regulations to follow shortly after. Under the GCC VAT Framework Agreement, member states who do not commence on the 1st of January 2018 will have up to 1 year to introduce the VAT. Emaar Malls has revealed that it has submitted an $800 million bid for Middle Eastern online retailer Souk.com. In a board statement signed by Ahmed Thani Al-Matroushi, the vice chairman of Emaar Malls, the company said that the bid of $800 million has so far not been accepted by Souk.com's shareholders, but added that the submission for Souk.com is in line with its strategy to align e-commerce with physical shopping. Speculation about a potential sale of Souk has been circulating for months, with Amazon linked to the purchase of the site as recently as last week. Emaar Malls said that if the bid was approved, the impact on the company's profit for the quarter and for the year would not be material. The Amazon bid is said to be worth $650 million. Women graduating from universities in the UAE and Saudi Arabia in 2020 could be the first generation to close the gender pay gap in their lifetimes. That's according to new research from Accenture. The report said that within decades, the pay gap could close if women take advantage of 3 career equalizers and if business, government and academia provides critical support. In the UAE, although UAE women show greater interest than men in aspiring to senior leadership positions, the pay gap in developing markets is unlikely to reach pay parity until 2066 at the very earliest. In its research, Accenture polled women from the UAE and Saudi Arabia and stated that the gender pay gap is an economic and competitive imperative that matters to everyone. adding that action must be taken to create significant opportunities for women and close the gap more quickly. Accenture's research found that globally, a woman earns an average of $100 for every $140 a man earns. The research also identified several critical factors that affect a woman's ability to achieve equal pay as early as university. It showed that female undergraduates in the UAE are currently less likely than their male counterparts to choose an area of study that they believe offers high earning potential, with 37% of women versus 42% of men or have a mentor. However, it showed that UAE women show greater interest than men in aspiring to senior leadership position, with 67% versus 62%. Additionally, young women lag in adopting new technologies quickly, which is at 58% versus 71%, and in taking coding and computing courses at 83% versus 93%. Accenture surveyed more than 28,000 men and women, including undergraduates, in 29 countries.